Hello, I'm Pat McClellan with Proton Text, and today we're going to talk about the basics of texting in Salesforce. What we're talking about today is SMS, or Short Message Service Texting, and this is the same sort of texting that you do on your phone every day over the cellular network using the standard texting app on smartphones. You may have also heard of MMS, and that's just multimedia message service, or sending a picture in a text. It uses the same network and the same apps, so SMS and MMS frequently get lumped together. Now, we're not talking about IP-based messaging apps. These are messaging apps that send the messages over the internet rather than over the cellular network. They require a separate app on your phone. And we're also not talking about Salesforce Chatter or other sort of messaging or chat that you would see on a website. So SMS in Salesforce boils down to three basic use cases. There's one-to-one messaging, standard talk bubbles, just like you would do on your phone, except doing it in Salesforce. There's automated texting, and we all get these all of the time. For example, you get a reminder that you've got a dental appointment tomorrow, or you might get a notification from your credit card company that there's some suspicious activity on your card. Very timely, low engagement, people love it. And finally, bulk texting. And this is just like an email blast that you would do, except doing it over text. So here's an example. Let's say that you've signed up to go to Dreamforce this year, and you indicated that you're in the admin track, and you indicated that you've opted in to the text notifications. So a few weeks before the event, you might get a bulk text sent out to tens of thousands of people in that admin track inviting you to a reception. So you respond yes, and with that response, you get an automated reply back to that that's personalized. They recognize your phone number, they can call you by name, and they give you the details of the event. But let's say that you're bringing someone with you and you don't want to leave them back at the hotel while you go to the reception. So you ask, can I bring my boss? Now, this is a reply that isn't in their selection set of yes or no. And so this gets bounced to a one-to-one agent, and they respond, sure, let's take care of that. So what you want to look for in a texting app is the ability to bridge those three capabilities, bulk, automated, and one-to-one, seamlessly to the recipient. Now, how does SMS get in and out of Salesforce? It uses an API over the telecom system. So this allows us basically from Salesforce to make a web call out, an HTTP call out, to one of these API providers who then bridge the gap and send that message out to the telecom, all of the carriers. In my case, for Proton Text, I use Twilio, as do many of my competitors. They're kind of the 800-pound gorilla in this space. So with Twilio, this is how this all integrates together between Salesforce and the carriers and your recipients ultimately. When we send a text from Salesforce, there's an outbound HTTP call out that is sent to Twilio, to their API. Twilio then forwards that on to the correct phone carrier. And then after that recipient replies, the carrier sends it back to Twilio, to a virtual number that Twilio is managing for us. Twilio packages that up and sends it on to the webhook that we create on Salesforce. So that's the round trip of a text, outbound and inbound. When you buy a texting app for Salesforce, the part that you're actually buying is this part right here, where it's the integration between Salesforce and Twilio. What's involved in that package is a user interface. Those are the Lightning components that allow you to do the one-to-one texting and to set up those bulk texts. You're also paying for Apex actions and platform events that handle automated actions so that you can send and receive and handle texts that are inbound in flows. There's custom schema that allows you to save those conversations and messages on Salesforce. And there's integration. That's all of the logic that allows the app to take an inbound text and figure out, who is this from? What is this for? Is it attached to a conversation? Who should I notify about this? Now, in addition to paying for the integration with Salesforce, you'll need to pay for the usage. And this is a variable cost based on how many phone numbers you have and how much texting you do. So this is a fee that you'll pay for all of the texting that you do. And so what's involved here are the API fees for Twilio, as well as the carrier fees for receiving and sending those texts out. So what you're paying for are the phone numbers, the text segments, and with bulk texting, it's the same as individual texting except multiplied by the number of recipients. So you're paying per text segment, that's up to 160 characters, per recipient. So let's say you're sending a short text under 160 characters, so one segment, to 1,000 people. So 1 times 1,000 is 1,000 pennies or $10. Finally, I want to point out that Twilio has an impact program. They call it their impact program for nonprofits, where they provide a startup credit for you and a discount on all billing. So if you're a nonprofit, you definitely want to take advantage of that big discount. So one of the things that we have to be concerned about is making sure that our texts going out don't get blocked by the carriers. They've gotten very serious about blocking spam. And in order to make sure that all of our texts go through, we have to prove to the carriers, that we're observing privacy best practices by registering our company brand, the phone numbers that we're using, and the use cases. So for example, a use case might be system notifications or account updates. Those can take a little while to process, and there is a monthly charge involved in registering those campaigns and keeping them registered with the carriers. It's a small fee, it's a few dollars a month. Luckily, Twilio manages all of this registration for us. Rather than having to go out to each of the carriers, we can go through Twilio's Trust Hub to get all of that registered. So now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about how to get started. You want to start by considering your use cases. How can texting help you reach the right people at the right time? In order to do that, which of your users will be texting? And will that be one-to-one or blasts? Will they be texting to contacts, leads, users? Once you've got that in mind, then you can start looking at the various texting apps that are on AppExchange. You'll want to do a feature comparison. I really encourage you to get a live demo of the app, because during that live demo, you can not only see the app, but you can understand how they're treating you. You can ask about their onboarding and their support. And in particular, you want to really push them to understand their pricing model, and in particular, how they handle those usage fees. It's always a good idea to ask the Ohana. Ask people in the Salesforce ecosystem which apps they use, which apps they love, and which apps to stay away from, frankly. Finally, you want to ask yourself at the end of the day, are you going to be important to the vendor of this app? That matters in terms of the response time and the kind of support that you're going to get from them. Finally, I hope that in your consideration set, you'll take a look at Proton Text. I would love to do a live demo for you and explain to you exactly how Proton Text can help you reach your mission goals. Thanks very much.